This podcast is sponsored by the Z Stick. Get the Z Stick. Walk, stretch, and strike with the Z Stick. Exclusive and only available at Zen Hailing. The current Z Stick is handcrafted, made of locally harvested bamboo. So guys, get one. If not, just use a broomstick, but make sure you're stretching the body. Zen Hailing Sports Science, breathing for performance, mind sharpening, and flexibility training. Learn how to control nerves and anxiety during stressful moments. Ha! Ha! Release internal pressure with simple yet powerful breathing techniques. Visualize your winning performance with mind-sharpening techniques. And start to create the highlight in your mind's eye. Whatever that goal is, even close your eyes, even see it. So if it's an experience, you getting a plaque, or you crossing the finish line, or making that game-saving tackle, see it in your mind's eye. Visualize that. Increase overall flexibility and durability. Reaching over when you can't reach anymore, let that front hand come down and that back hand come up for triangle pose. Gain the competitive edge by turning knowledge into wisdom and experience. Increase focus, awareness, composure, alertness, balance, and flexibility. Integrate sports science hydration tips for performance and recovery. This all-sports training program is for football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, hockey, golf, MMA, all stick sports, basically anybody who wants that competitive edge. Zen Hailing Sports Science. All right, guys, welcome to another Zen Hailing Z Sports Science live stream. I'm Tim Kelly, the creator of this, and welcome. Guys, appreciate you tuning in. I'm very excited about this program. There's a lot happening right now, and as you know, there's a lot happening in the world of sports where this technology is applied. So if you're new to this program, which most people are, because this is a program that I created after years of self-healing. So a little bit about my story is, after years of being a competitive athlete, my body started to break down. And as an ex-jock, I just really couldn't face that. And at that point, I went on a path and a quest for healing my physical body that led me to discovering the science of yoga, eventually becoming a yoga teacher, and teaching breathing and meditation over the last 10 years and really going deep on that yoga path. Recently, over the last couple years, intuitively, I found my way with the stick and started really integrating movement into it. And now with this course, I'm really excited to bring this technology to athletes. So Z Sports Science takes breathing and mind sharpening and flexibility training and the things that you would see show up more as in yoga classes and martial arts, but it takes the science, it takes the exercises, brings it right to the athlete and the coaches. So where that's important is the nerves and anxiety that overcome the athlete and the coach. So you see it all the time in games. The coach is freaking out and yelling at the player and hoping that the player is listening in the moment. And then you see the player just with the wide eyes, and you know the information is not getting through. So if the coach was able to control his composure a little bit more, and you can control that with your respiratory function, with breathing exercises. So these breathing exercises contained within the Z Sports Science program will help you control that. It'll help to diffuse and release that internal pressure. And if you're releasing that internal pressure on a daily basis, then it doesn't build up. You don't have that reserve. So then all of a sudden the frustration's there because you haven't been expressing. You can actually have that teaching moment or keep your composure and then keep your mind about you, and you'll know when to address that point with the player. So a lot of this is using the breathing techniques. As a player, it's important because pre-games you get those nerves. So a lot of us, it's what's happening. It's the energy leaks that are happening in between the game. The game a lot of times is fine, but before, the nerves are so much. You get so ramped up, the energy level, you get so ramped up that a lot of times, that adrenaline dump, then second half, you're shot. You won't really have anything to give. So some of this is to invigorate the body. Some of it's also to saturate the body with oxygen. So you're going to see it. I'm going to show you some clips right now from the internet. And it's interesting. You're going to see some different clips from just YouTube, but when you look at how different teams are preparing, so if you go onto YouTube and you just search different celebrations or even pre-game preparation on how athletes prepare themselves pre-battle, we'll say, it's interesting. It's interesting to see some of them are just chilling out and it looks like they're doing nothing. So I'm going to cut right here to Damon Harrison inside the locker room before the Patriots game. This is a professional football player before a match, and this is live what's happening. See, guys are just kind of chilling out. Getting loose, getting ready. Doesn't seem like they were really doing too much, although it did seem like they were getting coached up a little bit, but just that getting ready, getting loose. Now, the converse of that's pregame. Now, postgame, a lot of times, it's exciting. We finally realized our dream, our goal, and we're going to take you a little bit of Baylor football inside the locker room, again, before their victory. So you'll see one more how they prepare. See, some guys are chilling. Some guys are getting jacked up. Right. I mean, really, a lot of this is we're struggling. We're trying to figure out what we should be doing. I mean, really, what should we be doing pre-game? And one of the big recommendations that you'll see in this course is to do the breathing exercises. So, if you're in the car or on the bus or traveling on the way to the game, or it's even the night before the game, like fighters, you'll see MMA fighters, they'll sleep in high altitude or oxygen tents to prepare their body, to saturate their body with oxygen a couple days before fighting. And that's the same with what the athletes, or what I'm recommending the athletes do prior to going out for battle or game time. Hours before, even the night before, saturating your body with oxygen. So what that's going to do is that's going to allow your body to then take. So what's that mean? Take. Well, you saturate your body with the oxygen so that way as you start really then exerting all that energy and the oxygen levels start to leave and imbalance, you already have an oversaturation of it. So then that lactic acid, that inflammation that shows up, and that doesn't really set in then till later, or maybe it doesn't set in at all if you keep on top of it and you keep your pH levels balanced. And your pH levels are balanced with your respiratory system. So when you take and you saturate your body with that oxygen, well, what you're doing is really balancing the amount of oxygen, CO2, and acidosis. There's nitrogen in there. But that acidosis is what then manifests as inflammation. And it's what then, even with that lactic acid, a lot of times it'll build up. And then, you're going to have to wait to get your breath. So those heavy legs, they're not really going to serve you, or those heavy arms not going to really serve you anymore. So saturating your body, having that ability, you guys have that tools right there. Everybody has the same tools. Precious oxygen right in front of us. So use your ability and these breathing exercises. That's just one facet of Zen Healing Sports Science. So I love this program. It's really a program that, when I looked at it and I really looked at my dream, even with what this sports science program is. Well, my dream is to affect and transform the lives of millions of athletes and teams and coaches and trainers by heightening their awareness, their knowledge, and their ability to access their own magical powers through breathing and the mind. So think about that. Through breathing and the mind. I really believe that change happens one breath at a time. And, especially at the micro movement level. So, you're already an athlete, you're already achieving a ton or reaching peaks. So then when you're making growths and strides, a lot of times they're not really big, but they're little micro movements of growth. And in yoga, that really shows up the micro movement. So you're in a pose, you're using the breath, you're then maybe taking and looking at the micro movements of the movement, whether it's an internal movement, like with your breath, or using your breath to then go a little bit deeper into the pose. And that's the same as what we're saying here with whether it's the breathing for performance or some of the mind sharpening techniques and even the flexibility training. So again, this sports science program, there's no other program like this program. There's not any program out there that exists like this. There's other sports science programs in many of the athletic arenas and most pro sports, but most of them are concentrating on wiring up the athletes, and none of them are really dedicated to really bringing on the breathing exercises and that breathing science into it. Again, this is all stuff that doesn't have to take away any of your current training. This is all just supplemental things that you could do on your own. So for me, I created this online course because I just feel like it's a must-have for all athletes and coaches. And I said it's a one-of-a-kind, but, it's so you can release and learn how to control that stress and anxiety and really enhance your game day performance. Increase that focus, that composure, and increasing that attitude of yours. So that's where that mind sharpening is going to be coming in with some of that attitude training. So, and that's really where you are. So if this is just a program to help fire you up and keep you focused, then that's what it is. But nobody has the information like this. And if you're a coach or you're a player, you need to have this information. Because if you don't have it, your competition's going to have it. So get the edge. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about some of not only the Baylor, Yeah. Not only talk about Baylor football and what they do, but then this is the other piece, the post-game celebration. So you see the post-game celebration. Guys, that is releasing internal pressure in action right there. That was exactly that. That's a celebration. And it's the same, look at this coach in here in this clip. Same deal. This is people firing each other up. And that's some of the exercises. That's awesome. Release of internal pressure right there, guys. Like the Katsu shout. Yeah. That's pretty funny. So we don't have to get too far into the dances of the coaches, but that's part of it. The coach is the leader, and the coach, even in my efforts right now, and I just said my dream to bring this to all athletes. Well, my calls right now is I'm actually picking up the phone and talking to coaches because they are the gatekeepers, of their athletes. They want to make sure that this information is sound, and they want to make sure that it's something that they buy into. And to be honest with you, it starts with the coach, because if the coach is not able to control his composure and is not able to control his attitude, then that's where a lot of the organizations sometimes are not able to band together and become that team. And I'm having conversations right now about, it's not everybody's winning. Somebody has to lose. So what happens when you're 2 wins and 6 losses and people are not inspired and coaches are coming and everything's heavy? How do you get it back? What do you do? What are things you can do? Well, one of them, you see what happens naturally when people are fired up and winning. And when that's not happening, what you have to do is, I believe, you have to have exercises that you put into the fold to make those things happen, to create what you want, you create that bond. So coaches, one of the things with this program is the mind sharpening portion. This isn't just for the players. This starts with you. You guys need to have the proper attitude. You need to have the winning attitude. You need to be in the same alignment with the coaches next to you. Some of you are in disagreements, and there's no way you're going to be able to build teamwork and instill teamwork and attitude with your players if you can't embody that yourselves. So a lot of this is also to release the internal pressure that's going on within you. We all have families. You guys have more than just the coaching going on. So it's even more important for you guys who have extra pressures on you to be releasing that internal pressure. You also need to learn the breathing exercises and the mind sharpening techniques, because I'm not always going to be there. And this is part of you then being more rounded, more well-rounded, to be able to teach and coach and counsel and actually know what's going on, and then be able to help, not just give words of wisdom, but really have some tools to be able to help the players in the moment, help your other coaches in the moment, and help yourself in the moment. So that's about it on the coaches. I really appreciate you guys giving me this time to talk about Zen Hailing Sports Science. As you saw, I opened up with the commercial, and the commercial talks about breathing, mind sharpening, flexibility training. When I look at mind sharpening, I look at people doing training in athletics. You only have to look as far as Blake Griffin, who embodies looking for the edge. Blake Griffin he's the forward or center from the Clippers, and Blake Griffin's a stud. And there was just a segment on there where if you look at even the Zen Hailing site and you're on the website, you see Blake Griffin being referenced on here, talking about how he uses his yoga practice to stay durable. Guys like Joe Johnson, but Blake Griffin in particular, his biggest problem was having tight calves and all, so he uses it to stay durable, to keep flexible in the moment. And then when we're talking about Blake Griffin, as far as just pushing himself, he recently crossed over, so he went and trained with Cowboy Donald Cerrone from the MMA, UFC, MMA fighter, and he's just trying to get the edge because he knows they do a lot of posting up and they do a lot of body banging down low when he's playing. So he's just looking for the edge, and that's part of it, guys. He's looking for that micro movement. So this is not something where he's thinking he's going to be a fighter, but he's looking for the micro movement. Oh, 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 right? So you see, guys, he's doing different cross training that he would never normally do. You wouldn't see Blake Griffin normally doing that type of training, but because he's pushing himself, because he wants that edge, he's going to do what it takes. And that's something, like he even just said, I'm looking for the edge. I'm just trying to get the edge. So he's just trying to be the best that he can be. And that's really it, bringing that winning attitude, that warrior spirit. So we talked about these breathing exercises being something that can release the internal pressure. And I'm going to cut to a clip just from one day training and just talking about it. I'll cut to a quick clip that talks a little bit about these breathing exercises and imagining it's pre-game and you've got those nerves. just basically warming up here. Outside with the stick, having some fun. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're here with some Z Sports Science, some Zen Healing Sports Science, dropping some knowledge, some breathing, some mind-sharpening techniques, and of course, overall flexibility. And there's some simple techniques that'll keep you grounded. They'll take away some of that anxiety in the moment. They can use pre-game to gather your composure, maybe in between sets, in between series. Just different techniques that you might be able to integrate into your sports performance. So let's get started. We're going to first start with a Katsu shout. So in a Katsu shout, in Zen Buddhism, or even it's called the Zen Shout, and what it does is it kind of grounds from the Tantien, the Hara, or in yoga, it's one of our bandhas. It's also where we gather a lot of our ki chi. So by doing this, instead of getting our anger up and our emotions up in the head, like you'll hear somebody say, oh, you get your anger all up. Well, that means your anger is coming up and affecting your head in ways, and you're not being rational. So you want to ground into that. And one way to do it is the Katsu shout. So very simply, it starts from the belly, from under the diaphragm, and it's breathing in and barking out a shout. So it'll be either a ya or a yuts or a hurrah. But you'll be gathering it from your breath, from deep within your pelvis, deep within your lower abdomen. So I'll demonstrate that for you right now. Make sure nobody's around. So anyway, here's the Katsu shout. One version. Yeah! Another version with the ya. Ya! My father's version in karate. Yeah! Or it sounds a little even like the Marine hoorah with the said it really gets deep, and you can extend it, and if you feel it, you'll notice what's happening. You're really contracting the abdominal muscles and the Tantien and activating the midline. So as we know, the brain depends on the respiratory muscles and the abdominal muscles to send its signals to the brain in order to know what to do. So again, just the Katsu shout, that's one of the techniques. Another one is laughing. So very simply, by laughing, we start to bellow laugh. So we're really doing a belly laugh. Even if you're not needing to, it's just a fake thing. It's just something to trick the body. But notice what happens when we do it. Put your hand on your belly. Make sure that you're contracting your abdominal muscles and you're releasing that internal pressure. It's an expulsion, like a So that's laughing. That's a belly laugh. It's another thing that'll really reduce the internal pressure. So pre-game, nobody needs to know that you're fearful or you got the nerves up. Just put that smile on your face and laugh through the moment. It's like whistling in the dark, like my old coach used to say. All right, the third one is going to be Kabbalah body breath, or the boxer breath. And that's another expulsion, but out the nasal passage. So simply, you see a boxer, when they strike, and they do an expulsion out the nasal passage, and it's an expulsion that activates in the hara, again, in the abdominal region. So you're bringing it from down and then up and out. And this is reducing internal pressure through our breathing. So again, this one is the boxer breath. Same as doing a round of Kabbalah body breathing in yoga, which is okay. Another one we can do, a lot of us have headphones on, we just don't like the way we sing, but singing, so just getting it out, kind of lubricating that throat chakra, reducing that internal pressure. When we sing and we really hold a note long, you can feel it. It's a long exhale, and by exhaling, what happens is it helps to relax the intercostals, the space between the ribs. And exhaling then can reduce pain in a moment. Again, also activate the body's parasympathetic nervous system. It starts to calm us down a little bit. So we're already jacked up enough. We need to kind of calm down a little bit, get that medium so we can still play at a high level, still operate at a high level, but not be so much in our head that it's paralyzing us from making the right moves. And then finally, one of the other ones you can do, again, it's singing, or a chant. So I'll just do with an Om and show you the example of how chanting Om or something like that is a long exhale. Ready? On the inhale, There's a couple quick techniques pre-game. If you've got the jitters, I want to reduce some of that internal pressure, that anxiety, try some of those techniques. A little bit of Zen hailing, Z Sports Science. We'll be back with some more tips. All right, guys, so you saw we'll be back with some more tips. So what I want to do is walk you through a little bit of how to access the course online. Now, this work can be accessed primarily online, or you could book me for a live session with your team or one-on-one with some of your athletes or small group. Or you could also book me for a Skype session. So either or, but primarily this is an online program and everybody needs this knowledge. So this is something that you're going to be doing on your iPad. You're just really going to click online and go to either the Zen Hailing site or Udemy. So that's udemy.com/Z Sports Science, and you'll see the course right here. So when you come to it, you'll see the description here. It'll tell you a little bit about what's in the course. If you have a coupon code, this is where you'll click the coupon code and pop that in, and it tells you a little bit about what the course is. So it's designed for coaches, athletes, teams, and trainers. And it's all sports training. It's breathing, mind sharpening, flexibility, and it's one of a kind. So there's nobody else that has a course like this. This course does not exist. This is the only one of its kind. So it teaches the breathing exercises that really allow you to keep your composure, that really allow you to manage your energy reserves. It teaches the mind sharpening techniques, so that way, whether you're trying to manifest your goals or you're trying to erase those negative thoughts and create new impressions within your cellular body, that's what it's going to do. It's going to help you recondition the poor conditions mentally that are happening within your locker room, maybe amongst relationships with coaches and teachers. So this is going to give you some good tools to be able to manage some of this stuff. And of course, you're the teacher. You need to learn this, coaches, and start passing it on to the players and bridging it directly on to the players. Let them take responsibility for the knowledge. Again, the knowledge is when you ingest the knowledge and you actually try it, then it becomes the wisdom. So I want everybody to try this course. As you can see, it's got tons of breathing material in here, the fundamentals, tips on releasing internal pressure like laughing, the Zen Shout, cleansing breath, the boxer breath, alternate nostril breathing. So for that stress and anxiety, and then keep in balance that alternate nostril breathing that the yogis use on a daily basis, Philoma breathing, nose breathing, and of course mind sharpening with basics and the third eye gaze, visualizing your winning performance. We've got flexibility training and hydration training as well. The main gist of this training and what I feel is the gold, although nobody has the flexibility training like this as well with the stick. So that for me is gold alone, but I'm passionate about the breathing. I am just passionate that everybody needs the breathing knowledge. Guys, we all came in at the same level, learning how to breathe the same way, being slapped being born and taking that first breath. So I have the same knowledge that I just want to instill to you guys. And I just want you guys to get it, try it, and pass it on. Really, it's very simple. These breathing exercises can change the outcome of your performance. Simply that. Get this course, spread the word on it. Zen Hailing Sports Science, the online course. Guys, if get in touch with me through zenhailing.com or go on YouTube or Facebook or one of the other social media Instagrams. But get it. Get the course. Go after it a little bit. This is one of those things that take responsibility for your performance. If you're a parent, get this for your kids. What are you doing? You're spending all kinds of money out there. You spend a couple dollars, get the video download, and make sure your kids have the proper information. There's a lot of people coaching up your kids, and a lot of them, they mean well, but maybe they don't have the exact training. And most coaches have never been to a yoga class or really don't know what's going down with breathing. So most coaches don't know that. And that's not a knock on the coach. That's just the naturalness of things. Most coaches and athletes, they don't really do the yoga path. So the fact that through my self-healing, I went and did the yoga path, and the martial art path, that's really where I discovered the intimacy of these breathing techniques and the healing power of these and the ability to kind of just take your chi, your ki, your prana, your power, your energy to the next level. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this sports science program tonight, this little live stream. I'm going to keep it going, and I'm going to keep on sharing the success stories, guys. Things are really happening right now. So book your high school, book your college. I'm also talking to some professional teams, so I'm very excited about that. So book it now or get the online course. And we're going to talk to you some other time. Remember, guys, change happens one breath at a time.